Okay guys, I'm back. So I have an idea to put this box together, and I'm not sure if it's actually going to work. I've never made this particular style box before, so you're going to come along for the ride. I do have all my pieces cut, and I want to create as few seams as possible. So my idea is to build the box this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to build the top, and then we're going to build the bottom part. Okay. And this should wrap at 3 of them. Okay, so actually let me explain this box, okay? I have all my side pieces. The side piece, okay, top and bottom, and these are my side pieces. Okay, so what's going to happen with this box? It's kind of a tall box, but we're going to build this box, and it's going to have the top and the sides, obviously. Okay, now with this, with the front of the box, and I have to decide, the front flap will open down and the top flap will come up. So 3 of the sides are going to be secured. The top of the box is actually going to be permanently affixed to it. It'll look like it's 2 pieces, and only the front portion is actually going to move. So this is why I'm like, I'm not 100% sure how to build this, but we'll get there. Okay. I had this little strip of tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap, and it's probably going to be overkill because you're not going to see the inside of the box, okay? But this is just how my brain works, and I just need to do it this way. So we're basically going to wrap it like we're wrapping a chipboard cover. Now I have to decide what is going to be the front of the box. So let's just do this one. So with these, what I need to do is I need to wrap this, and it's not going to be quite long enough. I need to wrap the sides. So these are 2.5 wide. So what I did was I cut it at 3.5. And so let's just cut this way. So we'll cut it 3.5. Like so. And I'm just using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I could use my 12 by 12, but oops. This is what I had sitting right here. Okay, so I have 2 pieces of 3.5 by 11, and I have 1 piece, or I'm sorry, 3.5 by 11, and then I have 1 piece of 8.5 by 3.5. That's going to give me a 1/2 inch overlap on each of the top and bottom. Okay. So, and then these pieces are 2.5. So 2.5 wide by 7 1/8 long and 7 1/4. So I have 2 that are 7 1/4 wide and 2 that are 7 1/8. And just the way that my box is going to fit together, because I need to fit it over the base, that's why I did it this way. It'll make a little bit of sense. I do need a little bit of change. So we're going to start And I could actually do more strips on this. I could do my, you know what? Let's just use our 1 inch. It'll be quicker. Maybe a little bit. Still need the 1/2 inch. So we'll just do those and we'll come back with the 1/2 inch. Not too worried about the other side yet. We'll worry about that when we get there. And I don't have to glue this much down or to tape this much down, but it just makes me feel better to get everything kind of glued down. Okay, so 7 1/8, 7 1/8, 7 1/4. Okay, so I want to make sure that we start with the 7 1/8 piece, because if I put the 2 7 1/8 together and the 2 7 1/4 are together, my box won't fit right. So I need to, with these, what I need to do is I actually need to alternate. At least in my head, that's what I need to be doing. Okay, so I'm going to leave. Now this is just eyeballing. You can bring your ruler in and sit it at 1/2 inch. Let's do it this way. Oh, and since I didn't press it down, I'm not too worried about it. 1/2 inch. So I'll just put it down. And this is 7 1/4, so I need this one. And we are going to be bending these at 90 degrees. So again, just like with our other chipboards, we want to make sure that we're leaving a little bit of a border or space in there, because if I butt them up edge to edge, I would crack my cardstock with a super quickness. And some people that would bother that it's upside down, but it's going to be cut. You're not going to see it, so I'm not worried about it. Okay. Good, it's not hitting on a seam. That's good. Okay. Alright, I'm good with that. I'm going to bring this in. Get myself about a 1/2 inch right there. Save that for something else if I might need it. And now we're just going to come in and gently kind of see, I just start and there's a train. not quite straight, but not the end of the world. When building stuff, you know, I like to make sure that it's going to stay together. Alright, so now before we start taking adhesive off, just go ahead and work those folds just a little bit, just using our mat to press into them. Okay. The other thing I want to do is miter these corners, and again I'm just leaving about a little bit of an 1/8 inch gap. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of bulk out of these corners, and I'm going to just do a little snip, a little triangle right there. Okay, not a lot. And I'm not going all the way to the edge. I'm just trying to take some of this bulk out. Because I'm going to be wrapping it, and then it's going to be bending. It kind of reminds me of what they do, like the surgery, not the exact surgery, but what they tell you to do for an ingrown toenail. Take some of that pressure off. Okay. I've actually never had an ingrown toenail, but I've known many people who have. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap these corners, or wrap these covers. So we'll start in the center. I should have been a little more careful with that one. Some of you guys may not like taking this little piece out. Don't do it if you don't want to. If you're trying to follow along with this, I'm not too worried. I am going to cover this with pattern paper to give it a little more stability as well. You do have to be careful when you're folding it over so you don't rip the paper apart, but this is, you're not going to see a lot of this. Just brushing this all down. Okay. Now let's wrap these little ends. Before we do that, come in with our bone folder and kind of press those edges down. And just bring it around. Nice sharp creases. And this is when I love my Teflon bone folder, because when I'm burnishing, it doesn't mark the cardstock. It doesn't leave that shine to it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is going to sit just like this, okay? I am going to cover these two pieces because when it's sitting in the box like this, you may see the inside just a little bit, but you'll never see this back piece. So I'm going to take this. I have some leftover cardstock right here. These are 2.5. So I'm going to cut them at, they're 2.5 by 7 1/8. The length isn't really going to matter too much because you're not going to see that. So I think this is, what is this? Like 6 7/8 or something like that. I'm not super worried about that. But I am just going to cut it to, 2.5, about 2 3/8. Okay. I was going to go 2 1/4, but 2 3/8 is good. Just make sure that this is a straight cut. And again, I'm not concerned about the length at all. I am, I think, going to, oh my gosh, I did not cut that right. 2 3/8. Excuse me. I am going to also cover this with pattern paper, just because when you look in the sides, you'll be able to see. No, wait a second. No, you won't. You won't see this part actually. Okay, so I'm actually not going to cover these pieces because these pieces will be covered by these inside pieces, like so. Okay, so I'm not going to cover these. Okay, so my inside, or the top of my trim piece is ready to go. I technically didn't need to do this top one, because I'm going to have to do hinges to do the top part of it. So let's go ahead and work on that piece. We'll kind of get the top all put together. And these I can use, and I'll probably use those for hinge pieces. Okay, so my top is, what is it? 7 1/8 by 7 1/8. So I can use an 8.5 by 11 for this. Let's just make sure. I'm just making sure that I did this right. Okay. Yep. That's gonna sit just right. Excuse me. Okay. One thing I do want to do before, so 2 1/4, I'm going to create some hinge pieces. So they're going to be 1 by 1. And Again, like I said, I have my idea, but it's kind of coming together in front of you guys, okay? So we're going to score at 1 inch, or ½ inch, I'm sorry. Let's create those hinge pieces. 1 inch score tape. Alright, let's go ahead and crease these. Oop. Bend these scores. These are just going to add some stability to my corners on the inside of the box. Okay. And I'm going to miter these just again to take out some of that bulk. Okay. I'm not going to put those in yet, so they're ready to go in. Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of this piece right here. Alright, so it's 7 1/8 all around. It's the top. So let's go ahead and we'll just cut it 1 inch bigger all around. Hopefully this works. So we're going to go 8 and 1/8. Now again, this is going to be the top of my box, so I want it to stick down really well. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to do the entire top of the box, but I'm definitely going to get the sides down really well. Do you guys ever know that, or notice when you are working on a project, you like to turn your paper a certain way? Like if you're moving from side to side, you like turn it a specific direction. I just noticed that about myself. Pretty particular about turning one direction. Okay, so this is going to be the top. Side is okay. I am going to bring my Tim Holtz ruler in so I can kind of get it set up right, because I want to try and keep it as straight as possible. All the way around. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to get it done this way. Just trying to... I cut that too long, but I cut it too long because I had set it down. And it had peeled back some paper, so I didn't want that on there. Okay. Now I'm getting to this point and my mind's going, okay, so how am I going to attach? I know how I want to attach it, but I'm trying to figure out which way. Okay, so we're going to miter these once again. No. Okay, so we're going to cut. Yeah, okay, so we're going to cut straight here on both sides. So we're going to cut in on both sides, okay? And then this inside piece, we're going to cut in like that. Okay. Okay. All right. Hopefully that works. Hopefully it's going to be okay. Because this sits inside, not on top. Uh-oh. Oopsies. My scissors. I need those. Okay. All right. So we're going to start by the back. Oops, I did not press. Probably should have scored them. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to lay it here. Along it's because it's 7 1/4, it's slightly big on the top. That's okay because I want it to fit over. Okay, so what I've done is I've butted it up here and now I'm going to bring, oops, holding it in place, I'm going to, you could lay it like this and then bring it up. Press, press, press. If I could find my, just see where I put my bowl. Did I put it away? Nope, it's right here. So we're gonna press, press, press. Okay. Now we can you know what? Should be. let's actually wrap this first. Okay, so we'll do this, so it's 7 1/4, so we'll cut it down to 8 1/4. And we need to wrap this whole thing, like it's got to be fully wrapped. So it is 2 1/2 wide, so 5 1/4 will wrap it completely up. Maybe not needs to be quite that much, but it's okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this piece completely wrapped. Sorry about bouncing all over the place, but I just realized if I take the adhesive off those corners, they're going to be exposed. And then once I finally get to this part, the potential for them to be not as sticky is there, and I don't want that. I just want to kind of try and do this as easily as possible. It probably seems more complicated than it needs to be. This is just how my brain works. Okay, so I'm going to bring this in once again, 1/2 inch. What's nice is until you press it, it is not going to like stay. There we go. Now it won't come off. Okay. So just give these press. Okay. Yep, this is going to be just how I figured it should be. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add the adhesive here. Add the adhesive here. And here. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to cut out a part of this because I don't need it. So I'm going to cut that to right about there. Okay. And I'm going to cut that out. Oops. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. It's about 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to bring it up right about there. And I can cut it the rest of the way up with my scissors. But I wanted a mostly straight cut. Miter at this corner up, miter at this corner up. And once again, do some mitering here. And here. Okay. And I'm going to put adhesive all over this. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, just press those. I'm going to remove these side pieces first. Finish this down really good. Because there's a little gap, I am going to put just one little 1/4 inch right there. Probably not necessary, but again, makes me feel better. Okay. This is going to go up. I have a little gap in my cardstock right there. Actually, I mitered it just a little too far. Okay. Now, I think it'll be easier if I put this one on first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that off, and I'm going to place my my piece right here. I'm going to measure it. Oh, don't push it down. Okay, you guys might not be able to see this, but I'm going to try and make it even on both sides to the best of my ability. We're going to put this right there. Okay, let's flip it over. And I know I have a gap in my cardstock right there, but that will get covered by pattern paper because this is the outside. Okay, so we're just going to burnish this down really, really well. Okay, flip it over. I'm actually going to fold this in, fold this in. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to release this, and while it's flat, I'm going to adhere this piece right here and burnish that down, and this is going to move. Okay. Now, hopefully if this is all working out the way it does in my head, we'll be good to go. Okay. Okay. Now, this is going to come in like so, and I need to take the backing off. Okay. And what I'm going to do Lord. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up right there against that inside edge. Just butt it up, press it in, and we're going to work that up, keeping it down in there, just like that. And this is going to get wrapped around the front. There we go. Oops. And this will get wrapped. And I need to do just a little trim, a little more trim. A little more trim work. There we go. That'll get pressed down right there. Okay, so that meets like that meets like that. Okay, now we're going to do the same on this one. So we'll go ahead and take out our wrapper. Okay, baby girl? Okay, buddy? Thought I heard her coughing. Okay, so then this, I'm just going to press this down and work this up, just like that. This, again, I gotta cut a little more off to wrap around smoothly, just like that. And then this is gonna come to the inside, and again, I probably can cut off a little bit of that bulk right there. There we go. Sticking to my hands. My fingers at least. Okay, that goes there, that goes there. Okay. So this sits on top. This might make a little more sense. So this sits on top of the box, and this will come up like this. So this will flip up. Okay, and all of this is going to be covered with pattern paper. So keep pressing it though. Keep pressing. Just going to kind of press. Not this inside piece. This inside piece will be covered with pattern paper. The top I will cover with pattern paper, and all of it. So all the outside, and then this piece and this piece, I believe I'm going to cover with pattern paper. Okay, and then I do need to. Okay, so these are 7 1/8. So what does that measure now? Now that that's on. Yeah, so 7 1/8. 7 1/8. I'll do 7 1/8. Okay. Now I need to create. These all work. Okay, so these all work. We'll go 7 1/8. Seven and 1/8. This is 1. It's over 1, so that's fine. By 7 and 1/8. Okay. And we're going to cut these down to 1-inch strips. Probably could have gotten a couple out of this one. If I was paying particular attention to it. I can. Okay. And we'll go ahead and we're going to score these again. 1 inch. And a lot of you guys are going to be like, that's overkill, you don't need to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create little hinge pieces for the inside of the box. And I just like the added extra stability of it. The top of the box, the little Victrola or phonograph, whatever you want to call it, is actually going to sit on top of this. So I want it to be super, super sturdy in how it's constructed and attached. So that's kind of part of my thought process behind this. Got a little wild with that. That little strip. And again, we're just cutting these corners off so that they fit in the corners and they get rid of some of the bulk, so we don't risk tearing our papers. Because I am only using 65-pound cardstock, but when you double it up, it gets really thick and it works for everything that I need it to work for. Okay, so I have my little corner hinge pieces, which we did earlier. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going on and I cut I think I should have cut these the other way. Okay, so when you guys are doing this, you guys want to, shoot, I have to redo those. You guys actually want to cut them like this, not like this, okay? So when they're like this, you actually want to angle them back like that, okay? This should still work for my purposes, but you know what? Let's do this. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so we'll do this 2.5. There we go. There we go. Cut that one wrong anyway. Might as well, right? And then I'll just make a new one for that one piece. Okay, so 2. Adhesive, stick them. Sorry if you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm just taking them and I'm just sticking them, the score line into the corner and just pressing it down just like that. Just like that. Okay. All right. So did angle it. We'll go in there. This one can actually go this way, and this one will overlap. Actually, let's and see what happens. So I have a piece that's really sticky. Get it into that corner. Press, 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 press. Press, press, press. There we go. Right. This piece. Should work just fine. And I know some of you guys would prefer to do like 1/2-inch score tape and then put it in there because, you know, you're only working with half the adhesive at a time. But again, it's okay. All right, now I've got to create one more piece. So this should already be 7 1/8, and we'll just cut it. Okay, one. We shall score it in 1/2 inch mark. And it's a little crooked, not quite half. Tape's going on. Everything's a little crooked right now. Get rid of those. Head and fold. Our binding piece. Okay. Before we remove it, and remember we're going to angle this way. Not the other way. Go ahead and remove our backing. Okay, and so let's see if I can do this one. I just kind of set it to the corner, just like that. Making sure I push the score line into the corner itself, and then press it down. Go. Okay. I'm just gonna press with my bone folder all those areas because I don't want them lifting up. And we'll work this hinge so it stays down nice. I'm gonna have to cover that up, but that's not the end of the world. But here's the top of the box that the Victrola will sit on. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna stop there for right now, and I will be back. Okay guys, I am back, and I did a little bit of prep work so that this might go a little bit faster to get the construction done. And then we'll have to cut our papers, and then we need to create our gamma foam. Okay, so I already put the adhesive on, and so my pieces are 6 inches tall by 7 or 7 1/8. So depending on the actual box, because we want to give a little bit of give. Okay. It's a lot of adhesive backers. I always feel wasteful when I just toss those away, but there's really nothing to do with those. I cut my paper to 7, and then I put 3 lengths of it together. So we'll see how much we need to cut off. Now I'm going to start in the center and go from there. So go ahead and bring this in. You can start from the end again. I don't know why I decided to start in the center on this one, but I'm going to start in the center. Oops. Oh, hang on just a second, guys. Be right back.